Clerk, call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy Charles Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1. Andy H. Wynn, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickes, Commissioner Precinct 3. J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Thank you. Our invocation today will be delivered by Pastor Jason Valindi from the Saginaw United Methodist Church. Thank you very much for being here today. After the invocation, please remain standing for our pledges.
Judge, Commissioners, thank you so much. It's a privilege to be here. On behalf of Saginaw United Methodist Church, we send you our greetings. This prayer comes to us by St. Francis of Assisi, and so let us pray. Lord, make us an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let us bring love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, let us bring light. And where there is sadness, O gracious God, let us bring joy. And so, Divine Master, grant that we may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in the giving that we receive, in the pardoning we are pardoned, in the dying we are born to eternal life. Glory to the triune God, as it was in the beginning, is now, and will be forever. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you, Pastor.
Agenda announcements, Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have three announcements as it relates to this agenda. The first one is under the County Administrator section, item 9A1. This is the Tech Share Phase 2 agreement. We're going to hold that for 1 week. The second one is under Budget and Risk Management. It's item C1. There is a revised court communication in your red folders this morning. The only change to the appropriation adjustments was a minor or a change in the transportation area. And then finally, members of the court, under the Criminal District Attorney section, item E1, that particular item is going to be held until after closed today. Also would like to remind the court that today at 2:30 in 504C that the Citizens Blue Ribbon Committee is going to be meeting, and we're continuing our efforts with healthcare related issues. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Court members, you have before you the minutes of our regular meeting of May the 2nd.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes almost unanimously. Unanimously. We have some resolutions. Commissioner Wynn, I believe you have one for the Martin.
Yes, Your Honor. And Commissioner Johnson, this morning we have the honor of welcoming a group of outstanding young men and women from Arlington ISD Martin High School. They are here to be recognized as the best in state symphony orchestra. And as I call your name, would you please stand and then file forward toward the podium? Okay. And if I say your name incorrectly, blame that on all county judge here.
Because I always say them incorrectly.
Miss Nora Brin. You're going to be major in music education, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you speak Norwegian as well?
Yes.
Great. And Miss Courtney Gisborne. Courtney also on the varsity team of Martin High School, the golf.
Yes, sir.
Right, you're pretty good at it, right? And she's going to be majoring in music as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And
Where are you going to school?
I'm not sure yet. I'm still deciding if I want to play golf in college, and if I do, I might go to Harding University in Arkansas.
I recommend that you do.
talking
Played
to
golf in college? I did. I know you did.
Commissioner Johnson. Maybe she can play in your golf tournament.
Coming up June 12th.
And Mr. Townsend over there used to be a pro. Yes, so you may want to talk to him.
Don't get to it.
The only thing bad about this is that you're talking about going to Arkansas.
Next
Yeah, I
is
know.
Mr. Keller Huckabee. Keller is also on the marching band, and he'll major in biomedical engineering. And hopefully he'll attend UT Arlington, right? No pressure. And then we have Noel Lino. I forgot what you said you're going to study.
Business.
Business, that's right, business. Any
She'll
short,
be y'all's bosses in a few years. So
just don't become an accountant.
Now.
County Judge Glenwood is an accountant. And then finally, Mr. Grant Sykes. Grant is going to be majoring in business as well at UT, right? UT Austin? Right, okay. And then we have Mr. Michael Stringer is the director of orchestras at Martin High School. And he's also the president of the Texas Music Education Association Region 5. That includes the Mansfield, Arlington, and Fort Worth ISDs. And last but certainly not least, we have Miss Mercedes Meyer. She works in the communication department. She's here to make sure that the message get out to the public. Your Honor, if you don't mind, please read into the record the resolution, please.
you bet, you bet. Whereas recordings of high school orchestras from around the state are sent to the panel of the Texas Music Educators Association judges, who after listening to the recordings without knowing which school is playing, choose 2 high school orchestras, 1 string and 1 full orchestra. And whereas Arlington ISD Martin High School Orchestra added to their long list of awards and recognitions when the Symphony Orchestra was selected as the 2016-2017 TMEA, which is what I read earlier, full honor orchestra for the state of Texas. And whereas Martin High School has 6 orchestras with over 300 members representing nearly every continent in the world, and whereas 99% of the students began playing in 5th grade, and many are in the STEM program at Martin High School, and whereas the Martin High School Symphony Orchestra is under the direction of Michael Stringer, Brad McCann, Jamie Ovell, and Sammy Branch, and whereas the Symphony Orchestra was one of only 2 high school orchestras selected to play at the 2017 Orchestra Texas Music Educators Association Convention in San Antonio, and whereas, as evidenced by this honor for the Symphony Orchestra, Martin High School orchestras continue to pursue excellence, and 2017 marked the 3rd consecutive year that Martin High School group performed at the convention. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court, Tarrant County, do hereby recommend the AISD's Martin High School Symphony Orchestra on their passion and commitment to excellence, and for being selected the best in the state as the 2016-2017 TMEA Full Honor Orchestra. In witness whereof, we have herein to set our hands and cause the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 9th day of May 2017.
And I move for its approval.
Thank you. Have a motion second. Passes unanimously. Thank you all very much. Congratulations.
And instead of me coming down there, I would like to invite y'all to come up and take a picture with members of the court.
We were only going to have the delay this morning. We'd have had y'all bring your instruments with you, and we could have had a little bit of stuff going on. And it would have sounded a whole lot better than us. I tell you what, have we got everything?
Three this way.
Come on.
Three this way. There you go.
There you go. We can get the vertically challenged ones. What? That's you.
Okay, Mr. Michael, would you kindly?
Sure.
There you go.
Okay. Now smile at the cameras because there's a bunch of them out there. Well, this is the old-fashioned one that flashes. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You will make a comment?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, thank you. Congratulations, thank you.
If you want to make a comment, please.
Go ahead.
Commissioner Nguyen and members of the court, I would just like to thank all of you on behalf of the Martin Symphony Orchestra and Arlington ISD for recognizing the hard work that we put into achieving this award and selection. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. The next resolution is one that Commissioner Fickus has already presented, so I'll move its ratification. We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. And Commissioner Johnson.
Yes, I have a proclamation for National Correction Officers and Employee Week. And before I ask you to read that into the record, in your absence at a meeting 1 week or two ago, the Jail Standards Commission came down and did their inspection unannounced, and we passed in flying colors, and I want to congratulate all of the Sheriff's Department employees for an outstanding job on that program. And if you would... And if you would read that into this resolution into the record or proclamation.
Whereas President Ronald Reagan established on May 5th, 1984, by signing Proclamation 5187 to recognize the men and women who work in jails, prisons, and community correctional facilities across the United States, and whereas National Correction Officers and Employee Week is observed the first full week of May and will be observed this year from May 7th through 13th, 2017. And whereas this week is set aside to honor the work of correctional officers and correctional employees for their service and professionalism, integrity, dedication, and courage daily. And whereas it also raises awareness of the duties, hazards, sacrifices, contributions, and accomplishments made by correctional officers and correctional employees who are a vital component in the field of law enforcement. And whereas National Correction Officers and Employees Week recognizes the contributions of correctional officers and correctional employees throughout our nation and our state, and whereas it is fitting and proper that the citizens of Tarrant County honor the dedicated men and women of Tarrant County's criminal justice system's juvenile, adult, probation, and community correction employees for their role in safeguarding our community by providing a safe, secure, and humane environment for offenders who are charged to their custody while treating them with dignity and respect. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby recognize and proclaim the week of May 7th through 13th, 2017, to be the National Correction Officers and Employees Week in Tarrant County, and joins in honoring those men and women whose commitment, professionalism, and diligence keep our county and our citizens safe. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 9th day of May, 2017.
I move for its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And we have Chief Raul Banasco, Chief Executive Chief of Confinement, Tarrant County Sheriff's Office, to accept this plaque. If you would meet me at the podium, please.
And would all our correction officers please stand at this time, and we cannot tell you how much we appreciate you.
Judge, would it be fitting to have all the command staff and those who are here take a group picture?
You bet.
We can, whatever way.
Bring them to
Rush the podium.
Come on in, make your way in so we take one big group picture. It's about all of us.
Why don't we let you all get the plaque first and then
Got it.
She's back yonder. All right, let's see if we can pull that out, and then we'll get everybody else in.
Yeah. There you go.
It's still gonna be a tight fit.
We'll make room.
They're used to it.
This way?
Commissioner, we're going to come this way, so if y'all want to stand over there. Okay, there we go. This, we get in here, it's very tight.
Come on down here, Andy.
Guys, lead the way.
Vertically challenged ones don't get in the back.
Person in front of you shorter. I mean, top.
Hey, GTA, they're sitting in the back, but if you could get some of them on top, it would look better.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Get some folks up top.
Hey, Chris, you guys move up at the podium. One off the head that way.
I stole it, it wasn't somebody in the back. Just pull over down, pull over. Come up here, officers. Oh, man.
Stand sideways, that way you can
You're over this.
Turn sideways.
I'm ready.
You get right here and I'll get right here.
I hope this. I have your back.
We're doing threes this morning. She's on a three count. Anybody else gonna, okay, we're there.
We're there.
We're good?
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you.
Don't hurt your leg.
I've been meaning to change that flag where you see that star for about 3 months now. Thank you for being here today.
Commissioner Hurd. Great. It is good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Just want to say a few moments. I know the staff left, but We were last week in Austin during the commission monthly meeting, and to say the reality is we in the corrections field face a lot of challenges like mental health, and to take the staff and witness that over 22 jails did fail their inspection this quarter. It's very alarming, but we're very proud to say we received high accolades. We do run the third largest jail in Texas and the 15th largest in America out of 3,500 jails. So that's a tribute to the hard work the men and women do every day. And I've been in the business 31 years, but it starts at the top. And I want to personally publicly thank Sheriff Wayburn for his support of the detention division, how important that is. And he supports us 100% as he does the operations side. So thank you as the judge and the commission and the sheriff for supporting us, because we couldn't do our job every day without the support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge, Commissioner Johnson, thank you for that resolution. Judge, thank you for allowing, and Commissioner Wynn, thank you for allowing us here and doing that. I just want to say a couple of things. This came into law, as you read, in 1984, and based on the history that we could find, this is the very first time that the Commissioners Court has honored our unsung heroes behind the brick and mortar that stand between good and evil every day. And we thank you for that.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I also want to add that I know that, I mean, we're very proud of the Sheriff's Department and the job that they do and the way they run those jails. We also want to thank facilities, because I know that they're jolly on the spot when they're going through there. And a lot of times if the jail standards even mention something, facilities is right there to get it fixed before they can get around the corner. So, David, Sheriff, thank you.
Absolutely. Group, along with Randy's group over at the Fire Marshal, couldn't ask for a better team. Great team.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank y'all. Congratulations.
The commission was very complimentary of facilities on this inspection too. So David, my hat's off to you, as always.
Commissioner Johnson, I believe you have another congratulatory resolution.
I do, for Haltom City Senior Center. If you would read that into the record, please.
Whereas the Haltom City Senior Center was built in 1977, has undergone 2 renovations, and has almost 500 active senior adult 60 years of age and better participate in its programs. Whereas the Haltom City contracts with 60 and better for the congregate meal program, and in July 2016, it became the largest congregate meal site, serving over 21,000 meals to an average of 89 center friends each day. And whereas the Haltom City Senior Center was selected as a benefits enrollment center and has a social worker on site to assist with connecting center friends to benefits including housing, medication, and utility assistance. And whereas not only do Haltom City senior friends call the center home, but friends from 16 different cities participate in arts, crafts, exercise, painting, Tai Chi and Wii, bowling, bingo, quilting, beanbag baseball, billiards, and computer classes. And whereas over 200 community partners sponsor events and celebrations with entertainment at the Haltom City police and fire departments provide educational presentations throughout the years. And whereas Haltom City is well known throughout the state of Texas for level of service and commitment to seniors served, and looks forward to the future as the center continues to grow, now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim and commend the Haltom City Senior Center as it celebrates its 40 years of service to the community on May 16th, 2017. In witness whereof we have herein to set our hands and cause the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 9th day of May 2017. I would like to add that at our most recent Senior Synergy, which was last week, that the Haltom City Senior Center won the award for having the most participants from a senior center. So that just kind of adds to, there she is right there. She was jumping up and down, coming up to get their award. So, again, we want to also congratulate them for that.
I would move for its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Come
Ms.
on
Bobby
down.
Arthur with the Halton City Senior Center.
Your Honor, if I may, Commissioner Johnson asked me to research a little bit, and Ms. Arthur is far too humble, but I've had countless people tell me that that place doesn't go without her, so she's very well thought of in that area and far too humble to say it, so I'm saying it for her.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and any comments you'd like to make.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for recognizing this wonderful, wonderful occasion. Thank you for allowing us to be here. And on behalf of the Senior Center, I can't wait to take this back to show them. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. Court members, next you have before you the consent agenda.
Move for the approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
A motion is second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Manius?
Thank you, Your Honor. Before we move into our section, if we could go back to proclamations, resolutions, and presentations, and on item 6A, we didn't take a vote on that, so we can receive it, we can approve that resolution, we'd appreciate it.
We had a motion and a second. Okay. He made the motion.
Yeah.
He would have made the second, because there's only three of us up here. So, the motion now passes unanimously.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, if we could go to item number 2 in the Administrator's section, we're requesting that the Court approve the first year 2016-17 Health Resources and Services Administration Ryan White Part D grant subrecipient contract with Higher Praise Family Church doing business as Bridging the Gap.
Move approval.
Second.
A motion is second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Ms. McMillan is going to present the third and final item.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners.
Good morning.
You are asked today to approve the issuance of Series 2017 Retirement Facility Revenue Bonds by the Tarrant County Cultural Education Facilities Finance Corporation for Buckner Senior Living in an amount not to exceed $265 million. The proceeds of these bonds will be used to finance the cost of a new retirement community to be known as Ventana, which was located at the corner of Northwest Highway and North Central Expressway in Dallas. Public hearings have been held on this issuance along with all the notices, and the letter regarding county's hub policy has been submitted also. The Tarrant County Cultural Education Facilities Finance Corporation has previously issued similar bonds for Buckner Senior Living projects in 2007 and 2016. This, again, is for IRS tax-exempt purposes only.
I move for its approval.
Second.
A motion is second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Ms. Tidwell?
We have one item for the court to consider today, and that is the approval of release of the depository collateral as outlined in your communication for the $7 million.
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion is second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And actually, I, of course, have another item since I wasn't paying attention, and I do apologize. It's to receive and file the quarterly investment report for the period ended March 31st, 2017.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion is second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Good morning.
Move to receive and file the personnel agenda.
Second.
We have a motion is second to receive and file the personnel agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our second and final item is approval of a waiver of terminal benefits for the district clerk's office. This will be effective May 27th for the lead civil court clerk position. The net cost to the general fund is $6,158.21.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes
Thank you.
unanimously.
Thank you.
Mr. Beecham.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Jack.
We have one item for your consideration this morning, if I could speak. It's a bid award recommendation for bid 2017-072. This is a new annual contract for the purchase of all our equipment trailers. This is a partial award this morning. We are recommending award on a per unit price basis, awarding item 1, 5, 6, 6A, and 7, awarding certain items to North Texas Trailers, Holt Cat, Kirby Smith, and True North Logistics.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Jack, are we going to get that reclaimer issue resolved this
May
year?
happen today. We have a meeting after court. Pat and I have been talking hourly. I understand there was a problem yesterday. We met with R.B. Everett, we're asking for a 2-year warranty. We may yet still send them both back. They took some pictures, understand that they thought it was operator error, wasn't operator error. We'll meet with the attorneys after court today, and I believe we'll have a resolution this week, one way or the other. We're on it. Big
These are
time.
pretty high-priced machines, and this one has failed on us how many times now?
My gosh, I've lost count. They've had it for about 3 weeks, and we've held up delivery of the unit for Precinct 3. Commissioner Fickus is well aware of that. We canceled payment on a check. That's the first time I've done that in many, many years, and we're on top of it. I'm appalled, quite honestly, that the folks from BOMAG chose to send a letter and not meet with us in person yesterday. The other partial award item on this particular award recommendation was a trailer to be potentially awarded to R.B. Everett, who've been a good vendor in the past to the county, but pretty sad situation. You can't get a $500,000 piece of equipment to work properly. We're about to call in the Lemon Law, and I think we'll have a resolution this week.
Thank you very
Yes, sir.
much. Thank you.
Commissioner Fickus has an interlocal agreement on that he's asked me to move its approval. And
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Appointments. I think we're gonna put it on a consent. Do you have a job evaluation committee meeting this week? And I'm gonna appoint Chandler Merritt to the job evaluation committee. I guess, have we always done it, I always thought that we nominated our folks from here, but do we do it under consent? Or do y'all remember that?
I don't remember, but I'll second the motion.
Can we have a motion and a second? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. If we need to bring it back for consent next week, bring it back, but that way.
And we can do that under various board appointments. That's
Okay.
why we have that particular item.
Okay.
Move the approval of the claim, including the addendum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims, including the addendum. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Any briefing items today, Mr. Maynes?
Yes, Your Honor, we have two that we'd like to talk with the court about. The first one is the legislative issues. Mr. Mendez has included his memorandum. Just to note, we have less than 3 weeks left in the legislative session. I believe it ends on May 29th. And so it's pretty aggressive down there right now. So we're watching a bunch of different bills, and hopefully we'll be successful. I'll try to answer any questions that the court may have as it relates to this memorandum. If none, well then, if we can move to item B. This is a public health day. Mr. Tanasia is going to brief the court this morning on mumps.
Good morning, Your Honor, members of the court.
Good morning, Benny.
Thanks for having us here. If you recall, there was a news release almost a month ago from DSHS that Texas is experiencing one of the largest mumps outbreaks that we've seen in over 22 years. And I just wanted to kind of get you guys up to speed on what's going on here in Tarrant County and how it sort of compares to what we've seen in the past. So just a quick review. Mumps is a contagious illness caused by a virus. Typically starts mild with a fever, headache, muscle aches, tiredness, loss of appetite, all the things that we typically see with many illnesses. And then what is more pronounced or well known about mumps is that people get these swollen salivary glands, the parotid glands, so the puffy cheeks is what people equate mumps to. It doesn't happen in every case, but that's a typical feature that people look for and understand about mumps. So these symptoms usually start about 16 to 18 days after somebody has been infected. And that period can range from 12 to 25 days, but typical period is about 3 weeks. And like I said, it is known for that puffy cheeks, but some people can have other salivary glands that are inflamed and swollen and may not be as visible. And that's why not every case has that puffy cheek appearance. So how is mumps spread? It's pretty typical, like many other respiratory type illnesses. It's through saliva and mucus from the upper airway, mouth, nose, and throat. A lot of people end up having a cough or sneezing and talking. Those things can get the saliva airborne, and it can land on various items and infect individuals. Sharing items is a well-known means. People, especially young teenagers, college age group, we forget the basics of hygiene and we drink after each other, share cups, utensils, take a bite out of the same candy bar. Those type of things do happen, and that can also lead to spread of mumps. Touching objects or surfaces that have that saliva that landed on them and they have either been through a direct cough or somebody coughed in their hand and then touched a doorknob, and if it wasn't cleaned, then that can also lead to spread of mumps. Less to that extent, but it does happen. And it is, again, more transmissible in the early phases of the disease, especially up to 5 days after those puffy cheeks start to appear. It is a common symptom, and that's what we usually equate that to, saying up to 5 days, you need to stay away from other folks because you have the ability to transmit mumps. It starts a couple of days before the illness, but when the person doesn't know, it's hard to tell them to stay home or stay away. Complications do occur with mumps. They're more common in young adults or adults, less so in children. Most commonly known is orchitis, or the inflammation of testes, can lead to infertility. So a lot of young guys are very worried about mumps, and that's what catches a lot of attention. It doesn't happen in every case, but it is a known complication. Another rare but potentially deadly complication is encephalitis, or the inflammation of the brain. It does occur in a few cases. Meningitis also can occur. And in females, inflammation of the ovaries or the breast tissue can occur as well. And then occasionally this can lead to deafness if the inflamed nerve system is inflamed. So how do we prevent mumps? Prevention is actually pretty simple. We have a very effective vaccine available called the MMR vaccine. It has measles, mumps, and rubella all included in the vaccine. CDC recommends 2 doses. Typically, the first one is around 12 to 15 months of age, and then a booster shot around 4 to 6 years of age. And teens and adults who were not in that time frame, most of them are now, but this recommendation came like in late 90s or early 2000s to get the second booster dose. And those who have not had that, it's recommended they catch up on that vaccination. It's very effective. The measles part, if you recall, is actually 98% effective. On the mumps side, it's about 88% effective with 2 doses. If there's only a single dose that the person has taken, then the efficacy is about 78%. So in terms of vaccine world, this is actually very good coverage and protection once you take a vaccine, because some of them, like the flu vaccine we've talked about, sometimes we get about only 50% effectiveness. So this is very, very good in terms of vaccine efficacy. And another strategy that we use, and we just talked about it a little bit, is that we recommend school and work exclusion up to 5 days after that swollen puffy cheeks are noticed, because that's usually what people notice first and go to the doctor, get diagnosed with mumps. They do have the ability to spread it for up to 5 days after that, so we tell them to stay away from other folks. And that's a very well-known public health strategy, social isolation or social distancing in the absence of other means to prevent the disease. So just a historical look of what has happened. So this little chart here is from 1968 to 2011. And as you can see on the bigger frame, we used to get nationally upwards of 150,000 cases of mumps. And as vaccines came into being and people started utilizing those and school requirements came into being, that really dropped to almost a negligible few cases across the country. There were a few blips here and there. In 1986-87 timeframe, there was a major outbreak nationwide. It was about 13,000 cases, but a far cry from like 150,000 that we were just seeing a decade or two ago. And then in about 2006, we had about 6,000 cases. It was another breakthrough outbreak that occurred despite vaccinations being available. And there's a lot of historical look back and evaluation being done. Some thought it was a laboratory test-driven outbreak, that these cases still did occur, but we had new testing capabilities and availability of easy testing, so a lot more cases got diagnosed. But it's sort of a question mark on history on why that occurred. And then we've had now a quiet period for a while, and then the last fall, around Thanksgiving, we started to see an outbreak brew. You might have heard there was a big outbreak in Arkansas and other places in the country, and it kind of spilled over into Texas as well. We're not alone. We're seeing this outbreak all across the country. In 2016, we had about 5,300 or so cases across the United States, about 191 in Texas, and Tarrant County had seen about 16. And it has continued over into this spring, and right now, nationwide, there are about close to 2,000 cases, 235 in Texas, and 31 in Tarrant County. Now, it's a general rise in cases, but there are a couple of clusters that are sort of tied to each other, and that's probably like about 7 or 8 cases tied to each other. But overall, we're seeing a generalized increase in mumps in Tarrant County, along with many other states. So here's a map, and all those dark reds and the higher red colors are showing you where currently there's outbreaks of mumps brewing in the country. Here's some of the sources of data that we have available. Information is available, obviously, on our website as well for Tarrant County residents to consume, and then there are resources from CDC and DSHS also available. I'll be more than happy to take any questions at this point.
Still, if you've gotten it, then you're pretty well immune from it.
Should be, yes, sir. Yeah, that's the understanding, but that's how it's supposed to work with the vaccine as well. But obviously, we're seeing a few cases that they have been immunized completely and still having an outbreak. But science is that once you have mumps, your body is immune. It should last you lifelong. But, things do happen, and we get surprised.
Come back in here next week with
Yes,
puffy
sir.
cheeks, we'll know that ain't
That's
the case.
right. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you,
Benny.
Your Honor, that's all we have at this time.
Then we'll recess our open meeting, proceed to close to discuss items exempted under section 551.071, 072, 074, 076. We ever get our stuff working?
Yeah. Yes, sir. We're ready.
Having returned from our closed session, we'll now address the following matter.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning.
We're seeking approval permission to file suit against Keontae McBride for the recovery of damages to Tarrant County property.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
There being no further business, we're adjourned.